Good afternoon. Welcome to the 12th of 16 free performances of our Baby Grand Jazz series. We're delighted that you're joining us today. I'm Jane Penfield from the Development Department. I have a few housekeeping items. I ask you to please take a moment to silence all your cell phones and electronics for this performance. In case of an emergency, library staff will direct you to the nearest exits. Emergency exits for the ground floor are located behind you, as are the restrooms. There are also restrooms up at the top of the stairs and to your right on all 3 floors. We would like to thank the Charles H. Command Foundation for their generous support in making the continuation of Baby Grand Jazz series possible. And now, on with the show. Today we have with us Warren Byrd. Warren is a Hartford native with an international touring schedule after many fruitful years playing jazz throughout Connecticut, southern New England, and New York. He began composing music at about the age of 11 and has since worked as a full-time musician who has performed with various world-renowned and local Hartford jazz figures, such as the prolific Paul Brown, trombonist Steve Davis, Nat Reeves, and others. In 1996, Mr. Warren and David Siobhan formed the Afro-Semitic Experience, who performed a fantastic set here in January. Please welcome Warren Byrd.
Hello, you all. I'm so glad you came out to support this wonderful series, and you keep on supporting and you keep on putting in your 2 cents so that they'll keep on with this. I remember when it was not Baby Grand Jazz. Who was I talking to about that? And it was just, they had a Sunday series, and they presented music here, and I was a part of that often. And they had a good rotation then. And I guess there was a little hiatus, and then suddenly they came back as Baby Grand Jazz. Why? Because they had this nice Baby Grand. And what not a better thing to build a jazz series around than a real piano shaped like a Baby Grand, like this one. So, without further ado, I am going to get started. Just a little heads up for you. Some of you probably didn't know that we're going to have a couple of legends. Well, you know of one of the legends because she's my wife, Miss Saskia Laroo. She's going to be here today. But the other legend is not my wife. And you probably see this vibraphone here, and it's not Lionel Hampton, it's not my son, it's not my cousin, although he could be my brother from another mother. And he's a great educator and a great musician and composer. And he has a long and illustrious CV. His name is Mr. J. Hoggard. Give him a round of applause. But first, yes, yeah. But first, I'm going to make a little bit of noise and just hold your horses. of the sun and west of the moon. We'll build a dream house of love, dear, close to the sun in the daytime and near to the moon at night. We'll live in a lovely way, dear, living in love in a pale moonlight. Just you and I forever and a day. Love will not die, we'll keep it that way. Up amongst the stars, we'll find a melody of life to a lovely tune. East of the sun and west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west of the moon. East of the sun and west of the moon. We'll build a dream house of love, dear, close to the sun in the daytime and near to the moon at night. Live in a lovely way, dear, living in love in the pale moonlight. Just you and I forever and a day. Love will not die, we'll keep it that way. Up amongst the stars, we'll find a melody of life to a lovely tune. East of the sun and west of the moon, dear. East of the sun and west of the moon. Thank you. I'd like to bring Miss Saskia Laroo to the bandstand. Where are you, Miss Laroo? Let them see you. All right. So what have we here? Do we have a what do we call this?
Belt full of toys.
Yes, a belt full of toys. I'm glad it's not a weapon of minor destruction, only of construction. Yeah. And Miss Laroo plays a variety of instruments. And right now, we're going to play some selections from our album. Any particular song you feel like playing right now? Or?
I leave it up to you.
Well, I like this one. It goes something like this.
Back in the library, we are so very happy. Another year, this time not only two of us, this time it's gonna be three. So we are even more happy. And I'm gonna end this song.
So what was the name of that song, Miss Laroo?
Oh, that's a song we wrote together, huh?
No, the one before that.
Oh. That one was called Pretty Hartford.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought it was called something else.
It used to be called Pretty Rome, but now it's Pretty Hartford.
Well, that sounds like modification to me.
How about some collaboration time?
Oh, that sounds good.
Collaboration time. Okay.
wrote this one together, so we call it collaboration. All right. Well, I think a musician is always blessed when his best friend can be a fellow musician. And not only is she my best friend, she's always looking out for me, but she's also a lot of fun. So, she's real pretty. Miss Saskia Laroo, all the way from Amsterdam.
I met him in Hartford.
See, Hartford's good for something. I don't care what anyone says. Really? Oh, give Hartford, yeah. And speaking of wonderful things in the Connecticut zone, we have over here, about to join us on one of our songs from our album. We're privileged to have him here today, first of all, because we couldn't get that $1 million grant to go along with the one that was already supplied. So he understood, and he said, for the good of music, I'm going to come. And his name is Mr. Dr. J. Hoggard. And the name of this song is Why Not Me? Man, I'm so glad to have that sound. It's a sound that I've been trying to incorporate into compositions of mine for years, but I've been slow to ask Mr. Hoggard to come in and do any of my tunes because, I want it to be just right for him. But I've had the pleasure of learning his compositions.
He didn't think that I could learn his. That's what the problem is.
Well, I won't dispute you on that. However, you have proven me wrong, hypothetically. So.
Well, I read that one pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, man.
Now we need to do it again. We had a rehearsal. Right?
Yeah, I know. We should do it right now again. However, we're going to look at one of his songs. Should we do the ballad first, or should we do the one that's about different forms of green energy? Yeah? Okay. So we're going to do this composition. It's one I like. It's one of several of his that I really like. It's called Solar Power. That's spelt with S-O-U-L-A-R. Solar Power. You dig? Let's try this one. It's all right. Right on. Wow, thank you very much. We had to go into some of that that tribute to Miles stuff that we done. We can also check out another little thingy here. Composition by my man, Mr. J. Hoggard, beautiful ballad. And read it down with him. Got to do this a couple of times with him. And it's a really special song. So it's called You're in My Heart All the Time. Mr. Hoggard, would you like to say a few things about this song, or?
Wait, I'm doing some surgery.
Okay. Well, while he's doing that, I do believe there's going to be a few more words of wisdom from Jane of the library. And let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. And thank you to Warren and the trio. What a wonderful music this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed this fantastic performance, and we look forward to seeing you here again next week for another wonderful concert with Nelson Bello. Following today's performance, be sure to visit our many art and photography exhibits on the second and third floors, as well as the newly opened first floor exhibit called The Way We Worked, created by the Smithsonian Institution. Hartford Public Library is a nonprofit that receives generous support from the city. However, that support is not enough for us to keep the lights on and the doors open throughout the year. It's not enough for us to keep bringing innovative programs like Baby Grand Jazz and services like our American Place and our Jobs and Careers Center that have earned us national recognition. If you are able, please consider making a donation to the Hartford Public Library. Our donation box is on the main floor next to the elevator at the top of the stairs here, and we thank you very much for your support. I hope that the surgery was successful and the patient lived, and we'll finish up with the remainder of the concert. Thank you again.
You're in my heart all the time by Mr. J. Hoggard. Thank you so much. You've been listening to, hey, yeah, thank you.
We had the pleasure, I had the pleasure of having Warren perform. I didn't know him when I made the record, but afterwards, I knew him, but had not worked with him yet. I had the pleasure recently of performing that song for 7 audiences of elementary school children. And they loved it. So Mr. Warren Byrd and the lovely Miss Saskia Laroo help us prove that jazz ain't dead, it's very alive.
The doctor's mouth himself, he said something that we all need to hear. And as long as you continue to come to these fine Sundays and find other Sundays on other nights of the week somewhere where this fine music is being played, please continue to support it and keep it alive. And speaking of keeping things alive, there's one person that I love to keep alive because he was really a man after my own heart, and his name was Thelonious Monk. Yeah? And everybody always, I think we sort of fableized a little bit on the liner notes of our album about how much that Monk and Miles didn't get along, but the actual fact is Miles admired Monk greatly, except sometimes on the bandstand. So, and then there's a wonderful story I love to hear where Miles tore up his beautiful piece around midnight at the 1954 Newport Jazz Festival. But they were all riding on the way home, escorted by, I guess, the festival to various places, and Monk insisted on telling Miles that he played the song wrong. But it just goes to show you, you know, there's always a little bit of interstice in there somewhere. But the version we're going to play is actually Miles' version of Thelonious Monk's tune. So, well, you needn't.
We got some CDs.